Do you ever feel discouraged looking at some American dudes, some American people, some American folks making so much money and, making you feel like you're not good enough and you're not making enough money and you're not working enough and they're much better than you? If that's the case, listen carefully to this video. This is the fucking life. It happened the same to me. And it's so funny, because back then I remember looking at these gurus, I remember looking at these people on social media, and they were making this kind of lifestyle, this kind of money, and they were talking on stages, and they were, preaching and telling everyone what they should do with their lives. And I was listening, and I also was inspired. So there's nothing bad about what I'm about to say. There's nothing intentionally negative about those people. But what I'm just trying to say to help all my fellow European and all other countries people is that we get deceived from the image that we have about American people. So I love American people. I love those dudes. I'm in love with them. I have so many friends that probably are watching this video and are about to say, what the hell is this guy talking about? And I'm gonna show you in a few minutes. But I love those people, but still, from an American point of, from a European point of view, from an Italian point of view, from people who are really used to a different environment of opportunities, a different mindset in general, and different landscape and scenarios, to us, those people always look better, more successful, and they achieved easily and faster than us. But it is not the case, and this is why. So first of all, you never have to forget that somebody who speaks English as a native language, has huge advantages. So it doesn't mean they are better than you, stronger than you, with more skills and abilities than you. Of course, they've been gifted with this luck of the language. They've been gifted with, I don't even know how many billions of people as an audience. And if you speak Slovak, and if you speak Portuguese, and if you speak Spanish, Spanish could be similar, but if you speak whatever Polish, you are not gifted with the same opportunity. So it doesn't mean you have less skills, a worse mindset than them. You have to know what are your, strength points and weaknesses points. And an English-speaking person, so not just an American, but also an Australian, also an English person, he is, at the end of the day, more advantaged than you. I always tell, laughing to my friends, if I spoke English, do you even know how many followers I would have? So that's why I'm not impressed when people have 1 million followers, 2 million followers, and they speak English. Of course, I'm not saying I'm not inspired. I'm not saying they're bad people, or they're not good enough, or they just pretend to be good and they're not. I'm not saying this at all. I'm just trying to shift someone's mindset here so that you don't feel less. You just know the differences. Second point, let's talk about the opportunities that knowing a language perfectly is going to allow you to have. Do you think that if you have a business and you have to engage with customers, clients, recruit talents, and so on and so forth, you are going to have an advantage knowing perfectly as your native language English? Do you think makes your life much easier to study something and learn something about any topic if you know English? How much material do you think it's out there? How many teachings and lessons and mentors and masterminds you can attend as you know English? So when you really think of this, of course, the growth that an English-speaking person can have, that's why I learned English very back then, it's huge. Like the amount of exposure, the amount of stimulus, the amount of ideas you can grab from other people, the amount of of teachings you can learn from other people, it's huge. And so the scalability of your own skills becomes very, very fast. Now, the third thing, it's a concept that you need to understand as we're talking, let's say, about Americans. So American people tend to make more money because the market, it's a faster market. The market is a more compulsive market. People are more eager to spend money. Customer can spend more money. People have more access to financing. So what it means that if you sell something, and probably we watch this video, we sell something, we promote something, we want to get people in something, okay? So as we do that, people have to buy something, correct? If people have access to financing and credit cards much more easier than, for example, Europeans, then of course those people, as also, they're more impulsive, as the consumption of goods in America is much higher than Italy. People spend much more money than Europeans in America. Look at the debt management in USA for normal people. They are weekly spending what an Italian person is spending in a year, in a month. So if you understand those dynamics because you know the markets, then you're like, that's why these people can sell more. That's why people are more convincible. People are more susceptible to certain stimulus from people who sell. Fourth point, people in America have the American dream embedded in them. What it means it's people have the mindset of I can make it since the upbringings. They already think and feel they can make a lot of money, and this of course helps a lot, and at the same time it's their ruin. Why? Because so many people make it in such a short period of time, and then what I've seen lots of time in America is that those people fail in a very short period of time. So don't get deceived by, look, he made it in 2 years. Yes, but 2 years after, where was he? So in Europe, the stability is much stronger. If in Europe you become successful, it's much harder, thanks to social and governance and stuff that we have in Europe. You know, the social mobility is much less. So in America, you can start from scratch, you can make it to billions. In Europe, you can, but it's a little bit harder. But at the same time, if you make it, it's harder to fall down. So just remember and don't just get over-embellished with those narratives of, oh, look, he made it in 2 years. Why am I still stuck after 2 years? Step by step, look at the pros and look at the cons. Fifth point, Americans are very good at marketing. They make you believe they make much more money than they make. They make you believe they did it much faster than you think. It's not true. I spoke to so many good entrepreneurs, famous ones, that they have been in the cycles of the business for many cycles, many months, many years, many decades, and they always told me, brother, look, if you look at all those people on social media, 80% of them are fake. 80% of them show, 80% of them brag, 80% of them spend all the money they made, 80% of them are dead broke, so don't get deceived. So it's not a point of view that I am giving because I have to be selfish and I have to promote whatever my European zone. I have no interest about that, about doing that. My interest is to help people, because when you stop looking up at people, when you stop believing everyone is better than you, then you have the right comparisons. Then you can really analyze and see real people through the correct lenses. The bottom line of this video is absolutely not intended to judge someone and to say that someone is better than someone else and that someone is always pretending to make more money than someone else, and then someone, you know, it's not the goal of this video. The goal of this video is to make sure that everyone understands that everyone can conquer the world. Because if you see, especially in some spaces, Americans, they feel they can conquer the world, and actually they did, and they keep influencing a huge amount of square meters around the globe. But you can do that too, especially if you are in certain fields, of course. But we need to understand that we need to develop ourselves, change our mindset, change our perspective, and of course, learn, for example, English, understand other things, be able to speak a better English language, you know, make sure that we can convey our topics and convey our ideas in a better dimension. So you can conquer the world too. So the goal of this video is to make sure that everyone who's not American can, and not English also, and not British, can understand that you can conquer the world too. And so the goal is to put everything in the correct framework, because there's not better than worse. There's not he's better, his word is worse. At the end of the day, there are things. But as so many people cannot travel, as so many people maybe didn't have the chance to meet and to become friends and to work together with some of the biggest celebrities and in the sales space and the marketing space, and get to know absolutely amazing American people and English people and so far and so forth, they maybe have the wrong idea and they maybe get deceived sometimes. Just because they're Americans, it means they're better. Just because they have 200,000 followers, it means it is not. Because also remember that making 6 figures a year in Italy, in Europe, 7 figures a year, dollars, in Europe or euros, whatever, it's much different than making 6 figures or 7 or 8 in USA. Remember this. If in Europe you make 10,000 euros a month, you can live, I wouldn't say like a superstar, but you can live very well. If you make $10,000 in New York City, in USA, in Miami, you're not anyone. You're not anyone. Like, you're just a normal average guy. Imagine that in Italy, to become, for example, one of the top, as someone whose net worth is top net worth, you need $1,300,000. To do the same, to be considered the same in USA, you need times 4. Let's say 5-6 millions. So it's really a different market. So don't compare, and if you compare, do it in a very positive way and go conquer the world.